The AirPods Pro 2nd generation are hands down one of the few tech gadgets I bought in the last few years that has truly changed my life. Thanks to its world-class active noise cancellation, I have used the AirPods Pro to escape the annoying, noisy urban downtown life in a city. When my neighbors are playing really noisy bass music in my shoebox condo with paper-thin walls, no problem, just put on the AirPods Pro and it gives me total tranquility. Can't listen to your podcast at the gym thanks to the music, loud treadmills, and the douchebags banging weights? Well, the AirPods Pro can actually protect my ears, and this is something that's really important for me because I have very sensitive hearing due to my tinnitus. Thanks to its really small compact size, the AirPods Pro 2 make traveling on loud airplanes with only a carry-on a very pleasant experience, since I no longer have to carry those bulky over-ear headphones that just honestly don't offer better noise cancellation. And trust me, I've tried many over-ear headphones like the Sony XM4s and the Bose QC45. They totally sucked. Lastly, with the true sounding transparency, ear pressure relief magic, comfort and fit that lets me work out in the gym without it falling out, and the amazing sound quality, the AirPods 2 2nd generation is worth every penny. Despite being an Android user, a second-class citizen, the AirPods Pro 2 have become a necessity for my daily life. This is the type of gadget that if I lost it, I would immediately buy a new pair right away. It would be a no-brainer. So let's go into my review and discuss these themes and topics in more detail. All right, so the AirPods Pro 2nd generation. So I've been putting up for my entire life using these Bose QC45 headsets. I had the QC25 and the QC45, which are very expensive and known to be the best active noise cancellation headsets out there. And I've been using this primarily and only for airplane flights, because being on an airplane for more than 7 hours and not doing anything, not listening to anything, podcasts or YouTube videos that you download offline with your YouTube Premium membership, it really sucks to have the loud droning sound of the engine of the airplane, which then causes you to increase your volume for your actual earbuds, and that causes hearing loss. So I have tinnitus, and sound is a very particular subject with me because I don't like sound. I'm very sensitive. I actually have to wear earmuffs if I'm doing like the dishes because the clanging. Just years of listening to loud music when I was younger has caused some significant hearing loss, and most importantly has caused tinnitus. So I was really concerned about active noise cancellation in terms of how it works and whatnot. But then after doing some research on Reddit, it turns out that active ANC, active noise cancellation, is actually pretty good for your ears because it actually physically removes the sound waves from your ears entering your eardrum, thereby lowering the volume. So that's really important. And the thing with these Bose types of headsets was, first of all, they would get really hot. So they would cover my ear, and then just the heat of it would also cause these like this purple kind of bruising on my earlobes. It would just be very, very painful after long periods of time. And not only that, when you're traveling with just a carry-on, let's say you're going to Europe from North America, it's very expensive to use check luggage, so I would always get a carry-on. And then this would take up so much volume, this would also add a lot of weight, and it's just a big thing that takes up a lot of space. And you're only using it for like a very small percentage of your trip, which is the flight there and back. And you're not really listening to music while you're on vacation. So you know what? I was like done with this. I'm not going to buy any more bootleg or random earbuds. Everyone talks about how good the 2nd generations are compared to the 1st generation, and how these are the best ANCs for earbuds. But the best part about this is that the compact size, like just look at them side by side together. It's no competition. It's kind of crazy that we've come to the point where these little earbuds are doing significantly better than the QC25s or even the QC45s in many, many ways. So I will go into how I can compare this to the Bose QC45s and the 25s. But I have to say, this has been game changing, and I'm an Android user. So unfortunately, I'm not an iOS user. So these have been amazing even for Android users. And I'll share some tips that can help you get over the shortcomings when you use the Android app. Now, the first thing I want to say is, what do you not get as an Android user? Well, obviously you don't get to go into the special settings. So you're not able to set the spatial audio. You're not able to use like the camera to sense how well the fit is in your ear. Now, I think that's all kind of really superfluous features that you don't necessarily need. You're really buying this for the sound quality, the active noise cancellation, and the transparency mode. And I always thought that transparency mode was a gimmick. I didn't say like, oh, why do you need transparency mode? Because the ANC and the seal that it creates on ear, having transparency mode is actually really, really good. It's just nice being able to like quickly just long press on it And then as you're talking to someone, you can have a normal conversation. Obviously, it looks weird on the other side when someone's talking to you and they think that you're not listening to them or that you can't hear them because you have these earplugs in your mouth. But it works wonderfully, and I'm just very impressed with the transparency mode. I end up using it more than I thought I would. So one of the personal reasons why I didn't want to use this style of earbuds is that it would feel very uncomfortable and it would plug my ear. It would cause like a lot of pressure, and especially with the active noise cancellation enabled. That entire combination of stuff made me think that the experience of listening and wearing these for a long period of time would be very uncomfortable. And that's why I always opted for the Bose QC45 or the 45, like the ones that I have, because I thought that it would not create a pressure on your ear. But as I mentioned earlier, it does cause a lot of pain over the long period of time. Now, one of the most underrated features of the AirPods Pro, in my opinion, is the fact that these are the only earplug style headphones that I can put in my ear and not have that weird pressure sensation that kind of feels clogged up in my ear. And when you activate transparency mode, the pressure feels even better, almost to the point where I could walk with these AirPods all day in my ears and it would feel very comfortable because the transparency is obviously really good. You can hear your environment very well, and the pressure relief is absolutely amazing. When you activate ANC, active noise cancellation, you do see a slight increase in pressure, at least from what I experience. But these headphones are by far the most comfortable in-ear type of style. And don't get your hopes up, they can still be fatiguing over prolonged use. So can you use the AirPods Pro as a sleep aid when you go to sleep? Well, I was inspired by Linus Tech Tips, which is a very high profile tech YouTuber, where he said that he would use the AirPods to go to sleep all the time. So I tried it out, but unfortunately for me, there was too much pressure when I was sleeping on my side, especially when I was using my memory foam pillow, which was a little bit dense. When you switch to a softer pillow, it is a little bit bearable, but it's still unfortunate because this would be a really good competitor to the actual Bose sleep buds, which are supposed to help you fall asleep. Now, obviously, if you sleep on your back exclusively and you never sleep on your side, then the AirPods Pro are going to be an amazing sleep companion. Now, let's talk about the active noise cancellation. Now, this is apparently a lot better than the second gen, and I've had a chance to compare the two, and I have to say it is a lot better, and it's way better than these really old headphones, the QC25. I would always use it on my flights, and I was always very impressed with the results I would get. I was able to keep my volume low and drown out the noise of the jet engine of the airplane, but these take these to a whole nother level, and it makes me feel like I've been missing out with all the latest advancements of active noise cancellation. Now, in terms of all the other competition, I've been doing a lot of research, and apparently it seems like the Bose Quiet Comfort 2, which are the earbud style ones, are unanimously better in terms of active noise cancellation, specifically in the mids and highs. Now, this doesn't block out the human voice. It doesn't block out, let's say you go to the gym, you can still hear like clink clanking of the iron weights. You can, when you're doing your dishes, you can still hear the water crushing down and the dishes clink clanging. So unfortunately, it's not magic. It can't reduce the high frequency noise, and that's obviously a physical limitation. It's very hard to process and match the frequencies and create the anti-wave that would, destroy it. But it does a really, really good job at the mid level and obviously the bass level. So this, honestly, it does reduce the sound overall, because I did notice that when I go to the gym, which is one of the reasons why I got this, is to protect my ears from all the douchebags that slam the weight so loud. I really hate those people.
Oh my God, you gotta stop.
It's just being able to protect your ears, fantastic. And just going to the gym and having that protection, that little added protection, even though it doesn't fully cancel it out, it does reduce it a little bit. So you're still getting some added noise cancellation. And then as soon as you start playing some music or a podcast, it completely eliminates the entire background, which is sometimes a little bit scary because you don't know if someone's sneaking behind you or something, some event is happening and you need to be very aware of it. But obviously the transparency mode, just long pressed, fantastic. You can hear your surroundings and just be more aware of your surroundings. Now, it does come with multiple tips. Right now, I'm using the large ones. I'm still debating whether I should use the medium fit or the large fit. I haven't tried the small or extra small, but it's really nice that it accommodates so many different ear sizes. It makes me wonder if I go back to the medium, because right now I'm using the large bits over here. Right over here. I'm using the large ones. I wonder if that would help kind of reduce the plugged up feeling, because I don't know. The large ones do a really good job because maybe I have a bigger head, bigger eardrum, or bigger ear canal. And it just makes a nice tight seal. So I'm very happy with that so far, but I might go back to mediums to see if it would reduce the pressure in my ear just a bit. But honestly, it's not that bad. It's probably the most comfortable earbuds. And speaking about comfort and fit, I have to say these are doing an excellent job. Now, obviously this is very subjective. Everyone has their own different ear canal. It could be completely shaped differently than me, different ear shapes. So this is why I think the Apple return policy, 14 to 15 days, you can just try it. If it doesn't fit for your ear, maybe go for a different type of style, but they've been working very well. And compared to some of the other earbuds I've had, these are amazing at the gym. So typically when I do free weights and I'm lifting, all kinds of movements are happening around my head. It would cause literally the earbuds to fall out for some other cheaper brands like the ZMI PurePods that I reviewed on this channel. But with these, maybe it's the large tips, but they stay very nice in place in my ear. And I wonder if it's attributed to the design. Like, it's a very unique design. As you can see that it has the stem over here, which people don't like. People don't like the white color because, you know, it's kind of like a statement like, oh yeah, look at me, I got AirPods, I'm very cool. But honestly, these are the best on the market. In terms of price to performance to size, I think this is the best value you can get. The Quiet Comfort 2, the Bose Quiet Comfort 2 earbuds, they're pretty expensive, like $50 more than this. And I'm a little bit scared to try them out. I don't know what their return policy is like, and I don't know if the ANC is that good. ANC is not just about reducing the noise. It's about making sure that you don't get a jarring experience. And let me explain what do I mean by that. So with the Bose Quiet Comfort 45, if I were doing the dishes and I was click-clanking, if I was putting away my forks and it was making this click-clanking noise, it would send like a sudden spike and it would almost hurt my ear. It would just, I don't know, the active noise cancellation is just reacting to that noise and it's making a very sharp, jarring noise. I don't know, somehow imitating the clanking, the clanging of the dishes. And it was just a terrible experience. I couldn't use the Quiet Comfort 45s when I was just doing stuff in my house. It just wasn't a good feeling. It got really hot. And honestly, I think this does a better job at active noise cancellation. In terms of processing the environment and not causing any spikes in hearing loudness, the active noise cancellation is much better in that regard. So one of the things that has amazed me as an Android user is the kind of so-called fake multi-point connection. So what do I mean by that? Well, basically, obviously this doesn't support multi-point if you're an Android user. If you're in the Apple ecosystem, you can seamlessly switch between your MacBook, for example. So you have this MacBook over here, then you can switch to your iPhone and your iPad and all that stuff. Now with Android, I'm still very pleased with this experience. So basically, what do I mean that? Well, you compare this to as many devices as you want. So far, I've tested this up to like 4 different devices, and it's going to remember that device that you connected to. So let's say I have this connected to my phone, my tablet, my PC, which is a Windows PC. I have it connected to my MacBook. And what's really cool is that I can just go to the device. I can just put these in my ear, like just open them up, and I can quickly connect to that specific device from my Bluetooth settings. And I can do this from any other device, and it'll just override the setting. It'll take control of the AirPods. So let's say let's say it's connected to my Android phone, and I'm listening to something, and then let's say I want to switch to a Zoom call on my work laptop. I can just go into the Bluetooth settings and then connect to it. And now I know this seems really obvious, and like maybe this is something that you're used to, but for me, this is completely new, and it just works so seamlessly. I thought that you had to hold the reset button, like you had to long press it and then have it blinking, and then you can just connect to it. And so it eliminates a step in order to connect to your AirPods, and I really like that. So just being able to switch between devices really, really quickly, even though it's not multi-point, and it's Android and Windows and other Mac devices, I'm very, very happy with how that it's all working. In fact, I can show you a really quick tip. You can download this widget app that I've installed. I'll share a link to it in the description, and it basically shows you the battery status of your AirPods Pro. So that's really important. Right now it's charged to 100%. In my case, is at 75%. So this is the widget over here. I can just press it. I just tap it and it automatically connects. Or I can go I just go to Bluetooth and I click my AirPods and it's gonna connect. So now we're connected. Very, very easy and fast. So let's say I want to quickly connect to my Android phone. I can just press this and we're connected. So for that Android app that gives you a home screen widget to instantly connect to your AirPods or any other Bluetooth device is called Bluetooth Audio Device Widget, and it works wonders. All you need to do is install it, then add the widget anywhere on your home screen, and then anytime you open up your AirPods and put it in your ear or just open it up, you can click that icon and it instantly connects. So the Android app I'm using in order to see the battery status of your AirPods is called AndroPods, and I highly recommend this. It's totally free and it's very easy. All you have to do is download it from the Google Play Store, activate the service. When you activate the service, you'll see a background notification. You can totally remove that. It's not necessary. Here's how you do it. All you need to do is long press the notification, and you can say turn off notifications. So you can just turn it off like that and hit turn it off, and then you're good to go. Another thing that's really unique with AirPods Pro is how well you can swap out the silicone earbuds, so that in case you want to share it with a friend or maybe you want to sell it, it's going to retain its resale value. So maybe the third generation comes out and maybe the active noise cancellation is another 2x better. Well, the person that wants to buy it, let's say I want to buy a used, they can just simply pull this out and then just replace it with their own. So it's not very kind of gross. Obviously, you'll need to clean it in here. It does collect a little bit more earwax than the standard non-plug ones. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Another thing that's unfortunate with the AirPods is that apparently the case can get scratched up very easily. I just don't like the fact that it's one white color. I really wish I could customize it. Perhaps I can get a case with it, but that's a whole nother story. I don't really need it. The lanyard, I don't think I'll ever use it. And unfortunately, because I'm an Android user, I don't get to use this as like an AirTag, so I can't find it. But I haven't ever lost my AirPods case yet, so I'm really hoping that this is the case. Now, one of the biggest drawbacks about this is the charging methods. And unfortunately, it's using a lightning cable. And I really, really despise that. I'm going to explain why. Now, you might be saying, well, this supports the standard Qi wireless charging. Obviously, this supports MagSafe. It has some magnets. You can put it on any standard official Apple MagSafe charger. But I want to use my Qi charger because I don't want to have to get another lightning cable. But in the end, I think I'm just going to stick with a lightning cable. Just put up with this. Another cable I need to bring with me on a trip, unfortunately. Because these are so good, I'm willing to make this sacrifice. But anyway, so what is the problem with the Qi wireless charging? Well, I noticed that when I use standard wireless chargers, this gets really, really hot, almost to the point where I'm afraid that it's going to like burn, make a plastic, or reduce my battery life. Now, one of the things with lithium-ion batteries is that they're very susceptible to heat. Heat will cause it to deteriorate over time, and you're not going to get the full advantage. Now, these batteries last about 6 hours per single charge within the actual bud, and the case gives it about 3 more. So you get about 30 hours extra charge. And that's not a lot, to be honest, because let's say you're on a flight transatlantic from Canada to Europe. That's going to be anywhere from 7 to 9 hours. And you're going to be listening to YouTube or your podcast for more than 6 hours on a flight. You'll have to charge it at one point. So you don't want to degrade your battery using the wireless Qi charging. And this is something that I'm concerned about. So let me know, is your official MagSafe charger still producing a decent amount of heat? Like if you touch it on the side, it's like producing heat. And every time I charge it, maybe even with the Qi wireless charging, or just like a standard Anker wireless charger, it just gets hot. And I'm just very concerned about that. So please let me know in the comment section if you have the same concern as me and whether or not you feel the same type of subjective heat. It's kind of wish I could measure it, but yeah, I just would rather just put up with the misery of having to carry a lightning cable or a lightning adapter, which I will link in the description of this video below. Another annoyance as an Android user is that it's very hard to see if this case is actually being charged or what the battery life is like, unless you download the special app that I mentioned earlier. Now, I only recently learned that you can actually double tap the case to see the LED charge indicator, which is very unintuitive. So let's talk about the competition. As I mentioned before, the Bose Quiet Comfort 2 are the closest thing that I wanted to purchase over these. Unfortunately, they're more expensive. They're a lot bulkier, so it looks very disgusting. The case looks really, really small. It can't put it in your pocket. And yeah, they just, I don't know, maybe the comfort is not going to be as good as these ones. The fact that they could cram so much, I think that's what you're paying the premium for. Nothing in this case is being wasted. If you look at a teardown of this, it's all filled with technology. It's all filled with gadgets, wires, batteries, and even inside the stem over here, like everything is being filled. So the engineering, the R&D, the research and development, I mean, it's Apple's doing their prowess with that, and they're really benefiting. This is their best-selling product, but it's definitely worth every penny, especially if someone that you have sensitive hearing, like you have tinnitus like myself, or you really need the best performance for active noise cancellation, but you also want a really good form factor. In comparison to some of the other competitors, I noticed that I've been watching tons of reviews. The call clarity, so being able to be heard on the other line, is also a very important factor when choosing this, because maybe you're using this for Zoom meetings and this is your essential microphone. Obviously, the microphone is not very good, but it's a lot better than what I've seen on other microphones. So yeah, it's not great, and I don't understand why, because it has a stem, why the sound quality is not as good as, let's say, the laptops or your phone, but that's what it is. it's still going to be a lot better, especially than the Bose. Bose have been notorious for terrible sound quality, and they just don't do a good job with their mics. But these AirPods, they're still clear. It's not great. You'd rather get a podcast mic, but they sound pretty good. And your teammates and anyone else that you talk on the other line, they're going to be able to hear you totally just fine. I'm speaking into the AirPods Pro 2nd generation. This is a mic test, testing mic 1, 2, 3. I just want to be blabbering, talking. How does it sound? How does it compare to the other devices? We're going to play them right now. So I'm speaking into the Samsung S20, which is a flagship phone, an ancient one from 2 to 3 years ago. How does it sound? It's going to sound pretty good, probably a lot better than the other microphones because I'm very close to it. And this is typically how you would sound if you're using the speaker mode when you're just talking to someone on the other side. And for the final test, I'm going to be speaking into a corded wire. And this one too sounds really good. It actually sounds a lot better than my more advanced, way more expensive Bose QC45. These are the 25 version. They're very, very old and they're powered by battery and whatnot. But the good old wire sounds a lot better. Unfortunately, I don't have the QC45s anymore because I sold them because they were awful. All right, now I'm speaking into the AirPods Pro and I'm playing some pretty loud traffic. I'm going to test the noise cancellation as I get closer. So I'm pretty close to the traffic and I'm going to walk away. Testing mic 1, 2, 3. This is a test. I'm speaking into the AirPods. How does it sound? And there's still some traffic. Okay, now I just stopped the traffic. How does this sound? Testing mic 1, 2, 3. Speaking into the AirPods Pro 2nd generation. This is Jason Tax. So yeah, the sound quality is not that great compared to some of the other devices, but I've heard many other samples and it's far better than some other in-ear microphones. Another competitor that I did a lot of research into, but unfortunately did not convince me that it's going to be better than this, even as an Android user, is the Pixel Buds Pro. And just by looking at the dimensions, it's pretty small, but it's still not as small as this. So this price to performance to size is still killing it. The Pixel Buds Pro are significantly cheaper and they're compatible with obviously Android phones. And it's like, why not get it? Well, it's been unanimously decided on Reddit and all the reviews that the active noise cancellation, even on the 1st gen, is better than the Pixel Buds Pro. So this is the 2nd gen. It's probably going to be a lot better than the Pixel Buds Pro. And I think that's really unfortunate. Please let me know in the comment section if you think that I'm wrong and that the Pixel Buds Pro can get by on active noise cancellation for like what I'm trying to get. And in terms of the fit and the look of it, I just don't know. I think I prefer like the stem sticking out rather than this big bulbous thing sticking out your ear lobe. It looks kind of funny in my regard, but at least it has different colors and it looks a little less douchey, as they would say. The AirPods has a very iconic ventral capitalist look. Those are my two competitors. All the other ones like the Sonys I just don't trust, and they're just too big and bulky and very ugly to look at. Now, another thing that I really like about this is the touch control. And finally, you have volume control. That's one of the biggest inhibitors of me buying any AirPods. I had the AirPods before, the 1st gen and the original AirPods when they first came out, and I love them. But not being able to control the volume, especially with sensitive hearing, I want to quickly change the volume and not have to reach to my phone. It was a big deal breaker for me. That's why I never actually persisted using those. But finally, I can use it because the controls on this are absolutely amazing. They're probably the best controls I've ever had. The way you turn the volume up and down, it's just so satisfying. Like the click, the sound feedback it makes, it makes a nice, kind of almost like a vibration, but it's not a vibration. It's just the cues that they play. And the best thing about this is that the cues are not very jarring and loud. Some of the cheaper earbuds I've had in the Bose, every time you would do something like, I don't know, you would do something, a voice would say something or like a loud chime would happen. It was just so loud, it would hurt my ears. But I've noticed that when you toggle between listening modes, let's say transparency to active noise cancellation, or let's say you're just pause and play, or you're moving the volume up and down, not only is it just very consistent, like the controls are super, super good in terms of how you control it, but the sound it makes, the feedback is not jarring. It's just very smooth. It's almost pleasant to the ears. So it's kind of fun to use, to be honest. So honestly, these are amazing to control, and that's underrated feature. And the touch, like some of the other ones, man, you touch them, they're super sensitive, that you get all wet. I have had no issues with this. And just being able to handle them when you take them out, you can put one in the case, still listen. It's just everything works as you expected. So they did it, they nailed it in terms of the controls and just the usability of this. And the last thing I want to talk about, that is probably the least important in my opinion, is the sound quality. Now these sound great, obviously, right? They're way better than the previous generations, and just they sound very clear. A lot of people say that the bass is really weak, but I found that the bass was freaking heavy and like really, really good. In terms of the treble, I kind of wish it was a little bit clearer in the mids and highs. Like, it's still very clear, don't get me wrong. This is like obviously excellent sounding, but I think if I could tweak the EQ, it would be nicer to like enhance, because I don't use this to listen to music, honestly. It gets a little bit too fatiguing. I don't really need to listen to music. I'd rather just listen to speakers. But where it comes in handy is not listening to anything at all, just having earplugs and just turning on the active noise cancellation. That's very nice. Or in my use cases, it's going to be listening to a YouTube video or a podcast. And the voice, it does a really good job. You're in the gym, it's so loud, everyone's going crazy, clanking the weights and playing music, and there's like fans running and stuff like that. You turn this on, it blocks everything out, and you can listen to your audible book or podcast or whatever you want. And the voice, the fact that you don't have to turn it up, it's really going to help you out and prevent hearing loss in the long term. So these are life-changing. I think that these are, if you're a consumer of stuff like that, like podcasts, I think you need these. That's how good they are, and it's very hard to go back to anything cheaper than this. So anyways, that's it, my review. As an Android user, I do highly recommend this. The only downside is the lightning cable. And yeah, the features that are not apparent with the Android phone, I don't really care. It works totally fine. Those two apps, I highly recommend it. Being able to pair between all my devices, it's not inconvenient for me. I kind of like that. The fact that I can choose when to actually connect to my computer or my tablet or phone works very well for me. So yeah, these are the best investment I've made probably in 2022. And I will see you in the next video.